What's going on, everybody? It's the Creative Fro checking back in for another episode of Fireside Tech. I hope you enjoyed your week and are ready to learn something new, because today I'm going to be taking you behind the computer to show you how to color grade your own video footage. Now, this is something we've never done on the VAV channel before, so I thought this Sunday would be a good idea to go and get that done. Today, for the tutorial, I will be using Final Cut Pro, but you can apply these tips to any video editing software and you should be able to get the same results. Color grading helps set the mood and feel of video footage. Now, this comes really handy when you're shooting with multiple cameras to make it look like it all came from the same camera. So before I show you how to color grade your footage, don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button if you have yet to already, and also turn that notification bell on just for fun. So I have a couple clips on the computer. Why don't we jump behind the computer and I can show you how to color grade this footage. So now we are inside Final Cut Pro and I have the first clip here ready to be color graded. And what I'm going to start with here to make this a little bit easier is press Command 7, and we're going to get this thing here called a Luma waveform. And all you have to do to get this is select this little button at the top here, and you get a drop down box and you just want to select Luma. Okay, so now to change the color, we're going to go into the color tab here. The first thing I start with is the color board. So we'll select this and we need to pull up our waveform that just disappeared. So now we have our waveform on the left and our color tools on the right. We're going to fix this exposure. So the thing you want to keep in mind here is the 100 and the 0. So this is our highlights, and we don't want anything to be over it because that's going to be overexposed and we're losing information. So we're going to have to bring the highlights down, and we want nothing past the 0 because this is where the shadows are, and anything that goes past that will become clipped and pretty much just be too dark. So now we're in our exposure. This is the highlight tab, and we're going to pull this down until it is below that line. And we're going to use our shadows and pull these down until it's close to that line. We want to watch on the right side here. It is starting to go over, so I think that's a good spot. And now I like to just pull the master saturation. This is the master tab here, up a little bit to add some more color into this. From here, what I do is go into the color curves, and I add in an S curve on the white curve here, and all I do is pull this one down and push this one back up, and then we can fade in a little bit like that. And since there's some greens, I'm just gonna pull a little bit more greens into this. That's a little overboard, so you can just pull it back down a little bit here like that. And I think I like how that looks from there. So now that we have the curve set and our exposure, we can go into adding some color. So I'm just going to go into the color wheel and use this to add in some colors. So we'll put some more into the highlights. We'll put some blues into there. So we'll drag this highlight tab down to the blue, and as you can see here, it's changed to blue, and we're just going to up it, adding more blues into our highlights. And another thing I like to do here is add some temperature. So to the right makes it warmer, which is yellow, and to the left makes it cooler, which is blue. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more blue into this. Actually, you know what? The yellow looks better. I like the yellow. Let's go with right there. And I'm going to add in some tint. So if you pull this to the right, it's going to make it more purple. If you pull this to the left, it's going to make it green. So let's go a little to the left, -2. So we add in some more green and our mid-tones. We'll leave them where they are. The master, you don't really want to play around with the master too much, but you can use that to add in if your color is lacking. This is a good way to bring it back in. So you've pretty much done a color grade, and now just to see what it looks like before and after, this is after and here's before. A lot more duller, as you can see, and here we're bringing out the colors and the sign is standing out a lot more. The last thing I'd suggest that you can do to a color grade is add a LUT on top of it. So this is a lookup table, and this is going to give your footage a look. And if you want to go for a dark feel, this is a good time to add a dark LUT, or if you want a brighter, more vibrant feel, then you can add a brighter LUT. So what I'm doing right now is going to my tab and finding an adjustment layer, and this adjustment layer we're going to drag on top of the clip. Now we can close that tab, and I'm just going to type in LUT in the effects tab here, and it says custom LUT, so I just want to drag this on top of here. So now I'm prompted with a LUT table. So I have two LUTs that I purchased, and I do use these sometimes, and you can just choose one of them. Let's say we were to use the Kodak Killer. Now it gives this a way different look. It's a lot more yellow and a darker green. And if I like this, I could keep it like that, but I usually like to bring the mix down so it's not as harsh. So if we go about 0.5, that's about half. And that's usually what I typically like to do when editing if I do add a lot. This, I chose it because it's a little overexposed on the right hand side, as you can see. So let's color grade this GoPro footage now. And what we'll do first is open up our color tab and get that board going. And hit the exposure tab. And from here, we're just gonna pull down the highlights a little bit. So you can see they're touching the line there. Can even come down a little bit more. Bring our shadows down so we have some more details in this shot. And as you can see, that's already helped a lot. I'll take it away and you can already see that difference. Now saturation, we'll pull it in a little bit more, and then we'll hit up our curves, go with the white curve and make it an S curve. We'll fade in a little bit more. I should like fade it down. Okay, like that. And now we'll go into the wheels and add in the colors that we need. For here, I'm thinking maybe if we go with a warmer highlight like that. And even in the shadows, let's cool the shadows down a little bit. Perfect. And the temperature, just make it a little bit more blue. Add in some greens. Yeah, I don't like how that purple looks. Add in -3. And I think that's pretty good. So we'll just copy C, put this adjustment layer on here. Now we'll go to custom, change this one to teal and orange. That looks pretty crazy, but you can just bring it down. Now it adds a hint of teal and orange into your shot. So here's our before we color grade it, and now after. And it looks a lot more colorful this way. Perfect. So since we have a good grasp of what's going on here, why don't we jump in front of that fire and wrap this video up. And there you have it. Super easy, super simple. Color grading is not a hard thing to do, and this really helps take your video footage to that next level. I hope everybody enjoyed the tutorial. Please like the video if you did, comment down below if there's anything you want to see for Fireside Tech, and share this video if you think it could help somebody. I hope you enjoy your upcoming week and crush it. I can't wait to see you next Sunday in front of this fire again. It's a Creative Fro, and I'm out.